What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, back here for another Tottenham update for you guys. But before we get into that, we have got a new channel ready for you guys, rocking and rolling with our first video that has gone live on the channel as of today, talking about transfer news throughout the European game. So go and check out that, smash that subscribe button and hit that notification bell as well. But without further ado, let's get into the Tottenham update today. And let's start off talking about Conor Gallagher, as Mike McGrath from Telegraph says that Tottenham have identified Conor Gallagher as a replacement for Pierre-Emile Højbjerg and could cost up to £50 million. I mean, I like him, but 50 million?
Yeah, it's a big price for Conor Gallagher. As much as I actually do think he's underrated, and I actually think he would fit into Postecoglou's system really well with his work off the ball, married with maybe a bit more technical ability than someone like Højbjerg, more offensive thinking as well. I do think £50 million is a very steep price. I do think you're paying an English premium on that. I do think as well maybe it's a premium with dealing with a rival like Chelsea, rather than maybe they would sell for less to a different team as well. So I do think there's different things to consider, but I do think if there is a deal to be done, not for 50 million, but if there is a deal for a similar price that we sell Højbjerg for, I think that would be to our benefit. I think
right now, you got to say the market value for Conor Gallagher should be somewhere around in between 30 and 40 million. 35, 36, 37, around that ballpark figure, I think would be a fair price to play for Conor Gallagher. And if you're looking to pay 50 million for a player, surely there's much better targets out there than him.
I would say so. I think in Gallagher from Lyon, someone like him, there's who's probably a similar price but better quality, and even though he's in the French league, I think there are definitely options for me for that price. If you're going to pay, if you're willing to pay that much, I wouldn't go for Conor Gallagher. But I do think Conor Gallagher is the type of player in terms of a box-to-box player who's good off the ball, but is more forward thinking, more offensive thinking. That's kind of what we need in the other eight. Obviously, if we can get Ndombele off the ball to a better standard, then I think we should be going with him. But if we're not going to be going with Ndombele, then someone like Conor Gallagher or even like an Alex Scott makes more sense.
Yeah, totally agree. Let's move on. Let's talk about Edmund Tapsoba now. Bild out in Germany are reporting that Bayer Leverkusen have hoped that Tottenham would not make an offer for Edmund Tapsoba. However, Spurs are ready to bid for the player and want to offer 40 million euros. So, I mean, we're ready finally to make an offer for Edmund Tapsoba. Finally.
Yeah. We'll keep hearing that, I'm sure, until I see it with my own eyes. I won't believe it. But look, if 40 million if it's around about that ballpark, which is what, £35 million, and if we also are close to Van de Ven for 25 million, then it wouldn't make sense if we can get that whole package under for about 60 million. That would be absolutely fantastic deal, and it would really sort out our defence for a decent price as well. So let's hope those figures are accurate. I'm so excited about the prospect of Tapsoba coming to Tottenham. I can't get too excited because I still don't quite believe he's actually coming just yet, but it does seem to be things in the works. I just hope we get this deal over the line. I think he's such a talented defender. He's still not even reached his peak yet, and he's still playing at a really high level. I think it would be perfect for Ange, and I think him and Van de Ven for 60 million would be unbelievable business.
Yeah, it kind of doesn't make sense what they were saying originally and what they're saying now, because they were saying originally, well, at least a week ago, Romano was saying that we're going to pull the trigger on one of Tapsoba or Van de Ven. It looks as though Van de Ven is pretty much over the line or going to be over the line very soon. So if they're still negotiating for Tapsoba now, surely that's positive signs.
100%. And hopefully that signs that we're being a bit more ambitious than people originally thought. Maybe we thought Tapsoba was going to be more expensive and we've driven the price down to a certain extent. We can go for both of them. Let's hope that's the case. But I really think both is essential if we're really going to accelerate kind of our project.
Yeah. Let's talk about that Harry Kane situation again. And Fabrice Hawkins says that PSG are now doing everything possible to attract Harry Kane to PSG. PSG are able to make an offer close to 100 million euros for Harry Kane, a sum capable of satisfying Tottenham. Bayern are also preparing another proposal, who he gave his priority to. Florian Plettenberg saying that FC Bayern is still optimistic to sign Kane this window or in 2024, but more talks and negotiations will follow and are expected from the Bayern bosses. Clubs are still in contact, but for now it's about waiting. Kane will have talks with Spurs this week. And then he goes on to say that, as reported, Harry Kane made it 100% clear that he only wants to join Bayern. He's not considering any other move abroad. It's an agreement moment between Kane and Bayern. Kane is convinced that he can win the Champions League with Bayern and Tuchel. And then a report from Toby Alterschaff out in Germany, and he says Harry Kane has rejected interest from PSG. He only wants to join Bayern Munich, and he's here to leave, and that's the only place he wants to go if he does leave Tottenham this summer. The German club remain optimistic about signing him this summer or next. I mean, I hate Florian Plettenberg.
Literally, he's become a butt of all the jokes in our WhatsApp groups for sure. Like, he's so annoying. Every day he's like trying to convince everyone that how desperate Kane is to join Bayern. There is no chance that if Kane decides to leave on a free, he goes to Bayern. Absolutely zero chance. The only chance they have to get him is this summer, 100%. He is not joining Bayern Munich on a free when he has to pick up clubs. So I don't think that's true at all. So if they want him, they need to get him this summer while they have a chance to do so. And they need to do that. They need to stump up the cash. And all this, he's so desperate for Bayern. He's only wanting Bayern because they're the only top team potentially as an avenue for him. I don't see him wanting to go to PSG right now, to be honest. I don't think going over to Paris in the French league is within his ambitions. I do think Bayern, maybe, German league's a bit more competitive, even though Bayern win every year. But I think like it's a bit more of an achievement to win the Bundesliga than it is Liga. And obviously they're going to be competing for the Champions League. So I do see it a bit more sense there. But I still don't think he's desperate to go there. I think he's only willing to go there right now because it's a chance to win trophies, and it's potentially better than spending another year at Tottenham where he won't win any silverware, but most likely. So I can understand him wanting that move. He ain't going to move there on a free though, but they're not going to sump up the cash. So I just see this being a story where they keep drumming up, they keep trying to keep the story alive by drumming out rumours of him wanting to go to Bayern to try and drive down the price. But I don't think Levy's going to be moved by that.
No, not at all. And I think that, look, I've said it before and I'll say it again. I said it last night. If an offer of close to £100 million between, I think 85 should bring us to the table. I don't think we should accept that, but I think we should accept close to like 95, higher than 90, something like that. I think should be enough to probably get us to accept an offer. It gives us an opportunity as well to bring in a striker for big money to replace him. As much as, you can never replace Harry Kane, it gives us an opportunity to bring in a striker for a big money. But having said that, I don't think Bayern will go to that much. I really don't. And I think all this stuff that they're trying to push on the press is basically stuff to try and make Harry Kane kick up a fuss to move. And I don't think that's going to happen. I think Kane knows very well that all he needs to do is endure one more year at his beloved Tottenham Hotspur, and then he'll have the pick of anywhere he wants to go. So I think Harry Kane is very calm on the situation, and there's no need to kick up a fuss when he knows in a year's time he'll literally have the pick of any single club in the world that he'll want to go to. So I'm not really buying anything that Florian Plettenberg. If you were led to believe what Florian Plettenberg is saying, you believe that Thomas Tuchel apparently is still staying in his house and he's been waiting for him since he's come back from injury, and he even followed in him to Hotspur away today as well. Apparently, if you believe all the memes, I don't know if you saw that one. It was actually really funny. Yeah. Someone photoshopped the image of Harry Kane walking into Hotspur away today with like Thomas Tuchel creeping around the window. So it was very funny around the door. So anyway, I don't think anything's going to happen very soon with this Harry Kane and Bayern Munich thing. If they do, and I think it's a massive if they do go to that figure that maybe Spurs are looking for, then I think something can happen, but I just don't think that's going to happen.
It'll be interesting to see what comes out, if any news comes out of, obviously Kane's had his first day back at training today. It'll be interesting to see what comes out of, if there's any talks or any rumours comes out of what's been said between him and Ange, and how Kane has come away with that kind of first meeting. As Ange said, he's not going into the meeting in a way to try and convince Kane of anything, or even try and even get an understanding with Kane of the situation. He just wants to understand what Kane is thinking in terms of how to make Tottenham better. And it'll be interesting to see how Kane has reacted to that meeting.
Yeah, I was thinking, to be honest, we would have heard stuff that has come out already today, but nothing as of yet. So I'm sure maybe we'll come back with another Tottenham update a bit later tonight.
He seems happy to be with Maddison.
Yeah, there are loads of pictures of him and Maddison cracking jokes together. So hopefully Maddison's the one trying to sway Kane to stay now, but we'll see. But let's talk about a potential Kane replacement, and that is Dusan Vlahovic of Juventus. And Foot Mercato says that Tottenham are actively seeking a successor for star striker Harry Kane, with Serbian forward Dusan Vlahovic emerging as their top target. Vlahovic would cost Tottenham €70 million. And This is one I was thinking about as well, because I really rate Dusan Vlahovic. I think that his career has kind of swayed in the wrong way since joining Juventus, maybe because of the kind of football Allegri plays at Juventus, not really suiting him too much. But I was thinking, like, if we were to sell Kane now for the fees that we're talking about, I think it is viable that we do get a Vlahovic. But do you really think that we go and spend that kind of money on a striker if Kane leaves for free next summer?
I do. I don't think he'll have a choice, because he could always argue money. We didn't get any money for Kane, so we're hamstrung. But I think from a PR perspective and from a club perspective, I don't think we can see Kane leave without a significant outlay on his replacement. I don't think a lot of the fans would accept that, and I think even the club itself would want a big replacement for Kane. Even if Kane leaves on a free, I think they'll have no choice but to try and replace him with a significant fee, in my opinion. Obviously, if Kane goes for 100 million, maybe that means we could, if we really wanted a player for like close to 100 million, we could push that boat. Obviously, we're probably not going to do that if he goes for free, but I do suspect would probably still go for like 50, 60 million, something like of that effect. Even if Kane leaves on a free, would still have a significant outlay on a striker, in my opinion.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is basically what you just said is that if we get money in for him, the kind of opportunities will be much more broad than maybe when he goes on a free.
Yeah, it would be broad. It would be a bit broader, probably. But I think the caliber, like, I'm not sure who on the market anyway. Like, are you better off going for a striker? It depends. It depends who's available on the market at the time. Timing is very important. All these things, like who's just been signed, who's looking to leave, all that kind of stuff, who's available. But when you're talking about the difference between signing a striker for 60 or potentially 90 or 100. I don't know, but I think there is value in the market to be had, in my opinion, for signing players for that kind of fee. So I do think we could get some joy either way. I don't think you're hamstringing yourself. Essentially, what I'm trying to say is I don't think you're limiting yourself that much. You are limiting yourself a bit, but I don't think it's like you're massively limiting yourself by saying you could only go for players worth, say, 60 as opposed to like 90.
Well, it depends. It very much depends on who's available at that current time and what deals you can get and what clubs are willing to sell for. But in terms of Dusan Vlahovic, what are you thinking about him as a potential replacement for Kane?
Yeah, I was really on board with like Tottenham going for him when he was at Fiorentina, when we were looking for, say, someone to partner Kane potentially, or even replace Kane when Kane wanted to leave. And I thought he was going to be like one of the next big strikers. It hasn't worked out at all at Juve, really. He's been pretty poor for them, and a lot of the fans don't like him. But we have evidence firsthand of players who didn't really work out at Juventus, then come to Tottenham and started flourishing. We got two in our first team who have been absolutely brilliant, and we know that Juventus fans didn't like them, Bentancur and Kulusevski. So just because someone hasn't done too well at Juventus doesn't mean that they're rubbish. I would be, obviously depends. Are we saying this season or like next season? I guess it depends. If it was this season, I don't think I'd want to spend 70 million on him. I think that's a bit much for a player who's woefully out of form right now, and to put all our eggs in that kind of basket. I'd rather a player who's like really flourishing. But if there's a cut price deal potentially because he's out of form and Juventus are desperate for money, want to get rid, I think it's probably worth a punt, but I wouldn't go for 70 million. I think it's a bit too much for him right now.
You know, I think I would. I would go between 60 and 70 million for Dusan Vlahovic. I really would, because I think he's been hamstrung by defensive tactics that Allegri has deployed since him joining Juventus. And I think in a more attacking side, like he was in the Fiorentina team that he was in, I think he'll completely flourish, especially under Ange Postecoglou. I believe in his talents massively, and I think he can be one of the big strikers in world football. I really believe that. So I think that he's one of the big candidates if Kane was to leave this summer or next.
I think I might go for someone like Højlund instead.
I think I'd
rather go for Højlund than Vlahovic.
Well, yeah, I mean, I can see that. But first of all, I think like Vlahovic is more proven on the main stage at the moment than Højlund is, with him only having one season behind him, and also Højlund is a big target for Manchester United at the moment.
Yeah, but he hasn't signed. I'm saying as a player playing now, he hasn't joined anyone.
Yeah, but it looks like he is potentially going to join Man United.
Nothing's far along at all right now. So like if he's available, I think actually in terms of like a like for Kane, I think Højlund would be a better match.
Interesting. I mean, I think I would still side with Dusan Vlahovic over Højlund at this moment in time. But, you know, if Højlund has another really good season next year and shows improvements on what he did this season, then the conversation might be different next summer. But I think right now, as it stands, I would still go for Dusan Vlahovic. But let's move on and let's finish off talking about the preseason tour. It was all sealed now who we are going to be playing, and officially, Spurs have said that we will take on Singapore Premier League side Lion City Sailors at the Singapore National Stadium on Wednesday, the 26th of July, following the withdrawal of Roma from the fixture. So, what a tie that is, Lion City Sailors.
Can't wait. It's going to be the big boys, exactly. So odd there, yeah. So it turns out to be true, this whole Roma thing that they're pulling out the preseason tour. I really wonder what went on there. The rumours are, or the reports were, that it was something to do with the payments, so they didn't receive any money. It's very strange for that to happen in like a big event like this. I wonder what went wrong, because Tottenham apparently didn't seem to have any trouble on the money side. It's a big shame. We for the second season in a row, we're not going to be playing Jose Mourinho's Roma like we played against him in Israel. So that reunion is not going to happen, but I'm sure it'll be a great opportunity for the Singapore Lions.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, as we brought to you yesterday, Spurs have officially said that we are also delighted to confirm that our participation in the 58th Joan Gamper Trophy match against FC Barcelona on Tuesday, the 8th of August at the Estadi Olympic Luis Companys in Barcelona, which is, I don't know who plays there, but it's a 58,000 capacity stadium based in Barcelona, which is a strange one. It's not being played at the Nou Camp.
The new camp's coming under renovation.
Oh, I see. Is that what it is? And so we brought to you yesterday that this will only be 4 days before the start, but now it's 5 days before the start, which is 2 days after that game against Shakhtar. So I imagine you'll see a bit of maybe a mix and match team on both those days. So
maybe first half one team, second half another.
Yeah, exactly. So it's time to win a trophy this preseason at the hands of Barcelona. So let me know in the comment section below your thoughts regarding any of the news stories we brought to you today. Like, subscribe and comment. And as always, come on you Spurs.